What up, y'all? This DJ Illmatic back once again, coming at you live and direct, straight from my crib, USA, daily operation, episode 16. Here to chop it up with you about all the goings on in the gaming world today. Electric relaxation. I finally made it all the way through Borderlands the Pre-Sequel, beat the main story, still have several side missions to go in the DLC. I doubt I get to it anytime soon. I caught Project Cars this week, so I'm going to spend some time with that. I'll holler at y'all about it, what I think about it next week. And then, of course, The Witcher 3 comes out on the 19th, which is going to take up a whole lot of time. And so I'm not really sure if I'll get back to Borderlands the Pre-Sequel anytime soon, but I did enjoy it from beginning to end and enjoyed everything about the game, so I would recommend it. I also spent some time playing Trials Fusion. Now, Trials Fusion, the Trials series is one of my favorite gaming series. I loved both games on the 360. I copped Trials Fusion when it first came out, and because of issues I've had with my PlayStation 4, last summer it was hit by lightning, so I had to play all the way through Trials Fusion again. And then having to send my PlayStation 4 off a couple months ago for repair. Once again, I lost my Trials Fusion save, and so once again I had to replay through it again, which I did this week. Not really complaining because I love the game so much. I've always loved the game because it's one of those games that you can spend 5-10 minutes with if you only have a few minutes left to play, or you can spend hours with trying to get faster times. I enjoy just going through tracks, not even trying to go for faster time, just going through and especially the ones where you get a lot of big air and doing flips and all those other things. So I absolutely love Trials Fusion. Spent some time playing through it this week. I'll continue playing it this week. Primarily the reason I'm playing through it again is because the last DLC pack, or the last new pack of tracks they released, I did not get to play, so I had to re-unlock certain levels before I could play the tracks. And so I'm playing through it again so I can unlock a certain level and play the newer tracks that I haven't checked out before. And of course, Trials Fusion also comes with user created tracks, which also adds to the longevity in the game. Like I said, if you've never checked out Trials Fusion, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's a great game on the PlayStation Network. Alright, buck 'em down. This is a segment of the show we buck down the foolishness in the gaming world today. I'm going to take some time to talk about Assassin's Creed Syndicate. They released a gameplay trailer yesterday. Had a chance to check it out. Also had a chance to listen to a few of the things the Assassin's Creed developers had to say. And first of all, Polygon had an article in which they talked about the developers at Assassin's Creed apologized basically for Unity. They felt it was a disappointment, especially based on the Metacritic score. And so they basically apologized for Assassin's Creed Unity. Polygon wrote an article in which they said this was kind of refreshing to hear a developer to apologize for the mistakes they've made. Me personally, I didn't find it refreshing. I didn't think they had anything to apologize for. I would have found it more refreshing if they would have came out and said, to hell with all you complaining, crying, never happy, never satisfied, don't know what you want gamers. Because Assassin's Creed Unity was a great game. Now, I will be the first to admit the fact that I can see the point that the main draw for Assassin's Creed series for me is the backgrounds, the stories, the settings, I should say. I am a history major. I teach history. I absolutely love history. And so just the worlds they create and the historical settings they create always draw me in. But Assassin's Creed, aside from that, Assassin's Creed Unity was a great game. Now, one thing I have not liked is that the narrative told of Assassin's Creed Unity is that it was basically a buggy mess. And this just wasn't true. Now, I've spoken about this before, but I played all the way through Assassin's Creed Unity. I got it at launch, and I had 2 issues the entire game. The very first day I played it, there were 2, as I'm walking down the streets, there were 2 NPCs that either sunk through the world or were lacking legs, however you want to look at it. But they were basically just 2 torsos walking down the road. And then later on, I came to a point where there were some issues with the sound that lasted maybe 5 minutes or so. Other than that, I had no issues with the game whatsoever. And I've also spoken with several people who've played it. They didn't have any issues as well. Now, that's not to diminish anyone I'm not calling anyone who said they had issues with the game liars. I'm just saying that the issues were not widespread, or issues did not encompass every person that played the game. I also find it interesting that they received so much criticism for this because It didn't have any more bugs than, say, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, and these games are deified while Assassin's Creed Unity was vilified. I've played all the games I just mentioned, and Fallout New Vegas especially froze up on me numerous times. There was a certain part of the map that I couldn't even go to without the game freezing up on me. So these games had far more issues, but they're not criticized nearly as much as Assassin's Creed Unity is. And I'm not knocking any of those games. The Elder Scrolls series is probably one of my favorite series in gaming history. I absolutely love Fallout 3 and New Vegas. In fact, at E3, if they announce Fallout 4 and that it's coming this year, that's the only really thing I want out of E3, and I will be ecstatic. So I'm not knocking these series, but they do have bugs, and people forgive them for the bugs they have because they're these huge open world games, and so these bugs are kind of expected. Well, Assassin's Creed Unity was a huge open world game, and it had far more NPCs than either one of those games, so I'm not really sure why they don't get a pass for the bugs where other games do. And not to say that bugs are, we should just accept bugs. Of course, we want games without any bugs. That would be the ultimate goal, but these things happen, and as long as the game isn't broken, which Assassin's Creed Unity was not. But to listen to the narrative and to listen to people who have not played it, many people didn't play it because of the stories that were told, or the fear they had of hearing the things, and it made it sound like it was just completely broken. It was just a buggy mess, and it was not. And Assassin's Creed Unity did a lot of great things, new things for the series. It improved on the combat. It made the combat much more challenging. It really improved on the assassinations. It opened up the assassinations and gave you different options and different routes and different ways to attack these assassinations than previous games. So I really like the ways they improved on Assassin's Creed Unity from the previous generation. And so I think Assassin's Creed, they had nothing to apologize for in Assassin's Creed Unity. The Metacritic score was low, but I don't really have a lot of faith in Metacritic or most game review sites nowadays. And I've talked about this before. Hell, that's why I'm here. Everyone likes to complain, and so I think that kind of goes to what the scores are. But I loved Assassin's Creed Unity. I think it's a great game. They had nothing to apologize for, but they did. And they said they're really going to try to work hard to not have these issues this year in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and I hope they don't. Looking at the gameplay trailer, first of all, they did announce that there will be no multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It will be only single player, so they can focus on improving that single player experience and not having the issues they did last year. That's a good thing. I've dabbled in Assassin's Creed multiplayer. I enjoyed it, but it was nothing I was ever going to sink any major amount of time in. So I'm not really going to miss the multiplayer. The gameplay trailer, they showed off several things. First of all, you'll control two characters, a brother and a sister who are twins. You can, during the open world portion of the game, when you're not in a mission, you can switch back and forth at will between those two, and then the various missions you'll jump back and forth between two. So that'll be an interesting new twist on it. They also, being set in Victorian London during the Industrial Revolution, it's more of a modern feel, a modern game. Looking at the alpha footage from the gameplay trailer, it looks absolutely stunning. There was no heads-up display in the alpha trailer. I'm not sure if that was just because it was alpha or if that was a conscious decision by the developer to not have a HUD. If it is, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and to see exactly. That's a new thing for Assassin's Creed, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They had some new weapons, new technology. There's a rope launcher that allows you to, basically, it's a grappling hook that allows you to launch up and pull yourself up these tall buildings much quicker than before, or traverse across buildings using this method. Also, because it's more of a modern era, people just didn't walk around the streets with swords, and so you won't have this sword dangling around. You'll use knives and smaller weapons like that. One thing I wish Assassin's Creed would do, and I wish they would make the combat like Batman in terms of, and I know people say it is like Batman, but when I say like Batman, I want the combat to be like Batman in terms of you don't kill, you just knock people out. And the reason being is because as an assassin, I feel like you should come into this world and you don't want to leave as little of a footprint as possible. You're there to assassinate a particular target, so by just making it to where you just knock everyone else out and only kill or assassinate your targets, I think it would give more weight It would make the assassinations feel a little bit more special. I mean, honestly, Assassin's Creed, you go through the world and you kill hundreds and hundreds of NPCs, and so when you do assassinate a target, it doesn't feel that much of a big deal. In fact, you often feel more like for me at least, I feel more like a serial killer than I do an assassin, just because I'm killing so many NPCs by the time I get to my assassination target. And so I would like to see them stop. Like I said, make everything outside of the assassinations non-violent takedowns. You just knock them out and just leave the killing for the assassinations. Maybe that'll be in a future installment. We'll see. They also implement different modes of travel. They talked about train, which they didn't show off. They did show off the horse-drawn carriage aspect of it. You can use that to traverse the world, run over targets, kill targets, hide in as well. And so that was very interesting as well. The city looks very large. I believe they said there's going to be 7 boroughs of London. London itself, wealthy area, affluent areas, also poor, poverty-stricken slum areas. And basically the Templars are the wealthy. They are the ones that are controlling the London during the Industrial Revolution. So they're getting wealthy off the backs of the labor of the poor. And so the assassins are very few assassins are left, and the assassins are basically trying to rally these poor to rise up against the Templars, to rise up against this wealthy. They also showed off some gang fights. So you go and try to take over an area, you have to defeat the gang captain, and then your gang will fight off against their gang. So there are a lot of new elements to Assassin's Creed so far from what I've seen. Really looking forward to the game. Hopefully everyone is as well. A lot of people that didn't even play Unity still are kind of leery about Assassin's Creed from all the negative press it got. I'm not sure. Some people didn't like last year's game. I loved it. Talked to a lot of people that did enjoy it. So hopefully this Assassin's Creed Syndicate, this gameplay trailer, these aspects of the game will draw people back in who are necessarily not happy with last year's version. But I'm definitely looking forward to the game. Like I said, graphically it's absolutely stunning. And so it releases in October, and so it'll definitely be a day one cop for me. And hopefully more and more people will jump on board with it day one as well. Alright, y'all, that's all the time we got for this week's episode of Daily Operation. It's been DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation, episode 16. Once again, check us out at 8bitchimp.com for all that gaming flavor you savor, 8bitchimp.com. Check me out on YouTube, DJ_Illmatic. Like my videos. Holla at me in the chat. Subscribe to my channel. Also check me out on Twitch, broadcasting almost daily at the same thing, DJ_Illmatic. Yeah, also hit me up on Twitter, DJ Illmatic23. No space, no underscore, all together. Get at me at one or all 3 of those, and I will get back at you. Also, you can check me out, Daily Operation, on iTunes. Search 8bitchimp.com on iTunes, and you'll find Daily Operation. Fat shout to my Organized Gamers family, the whole crew, and fat shout to everybody showing love on these Daily Operation joints, whether you're checking me out on YouTube, checking me out on the 8-Bit Chimp. No matter where you're checking me out, I really appreciate the love. Thanks for checking me out. Hopefully you continue to kick it with me. It's been DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation. We out, y'all. 1.